It does bother my my mind. I think the lack of explainability is disturbing. Um, and that's something that comes up with vector databases. We do understand the concept of how does the system works, but why does a sentence, a word, or a paragraph ended up with this specific vector representation? I think this is still unknown to us. And I think it would be, I know that there's research going on trying to really figure out what's going on within those models, embedding models. It's important, to keep on hammering this and try and figure it out what's going on there. I think that if we were able to do that, then new avenues would open up. So yes, it does disturb me, but with knowledge graph explainability is much easier. When you're running a query, when you're asking a question and you're not getting the right answer from an LLM or a RAG type of a system, you can actually look at the data and reason about it, because the data is meaningful. You're looking at nodes that represents ideas, and you're looking at the relationship between them, or you're looking at a cipher query that might have been auto-generated by an LLM, and you can reason about the entire RAG system end to end. Not something that you can usually do with vectors, and I'm not here to hammer about vector RAG. Yeah, I think it's what you've mentioned is one of the big questions in academia, and I know that people are working on it to get better understanding on how, what exactly is happening within those modules, because at the end of the day, this is once again linear algebra, matrices being multiplied, and we are working in vector spaces and with embeddings at the end of the day.
And I think that it's also important to think that the language models themselves, when you dive into them, we're talking about very similar mathematics that's governing them. And one of the reasons I like to think about this problem is is that the next step is that these architectures and these structures, do we start borrowing from each one? Some of the principles that you're using for FalkorDB and how you're connecting knowledge. Do we start taking some of those principles and do we introduce that to transformer architecture, or is there a way of storing embeddings in the knowledge graph type structure and start to be able to do the same sort of calculations in the same type? And is that where we're going over the next couple of years, is combining all of these into one structure, or is it a structure kind of like, I don't know, what we've done with TrustGraph, where we've built an infrastructure, a system that connects them all together with some services that kind of manage those relationships. And I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know which one of those we go back and forth on which way is the answer ourselves.
So what I believe would be the leading solution to RAG systems is a hybrid type of a solution, which combines the best of knowledge graphs and vector or semantic search. And with the entire industry coming to this realization, or the entire industry understanding the value with semantic search, you see vendors from the wide range implementing vector indexing within their products. So you see relational databases, document stores, knowledge graph databases, they all roll out the semantic search capabilities. And so FalkorDB, like the majority of the vendors, has a built-in vector index. And so the idea behind this is to say, I'm not exactly sure which nodes I want to start traversing from. Let me do a semantic search, which would give me a set of nodes that are semantically similar to maybe a question, and let me traverse further from there. So it's a hybrid type of a system that utilizes both.